Yeah.
Taking certain medications, but
Skyrise.
Put
it on your list.
or whatever.
Yeah.
The bidding game. He still wants to drive.
Sky. Really cool.
Is that G-Wagon?
Good morning. We're going to go ahead and get started. That clock is a little bit off. It is, my iPhone says 8:30, as is the computer. Welcome to the LambTag Board of Directors meeting for Citrus. Today is Wednesday, February 11th. Good morning. We will start with our first item on the agenda, which is the approval of the January 14th minutes. And just to note, those start on page 3 in your packet. So if you want to just skim through them really quick, you've probably already seen them, but I would entertain a motion to accept.
Motion to accept.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any questions on those pages? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. The minutes are approved. We will now scroll to number 2, public comments. There aren't any. Unless anybody wants to come up to the podium.
They'll wait one more month.
All right, seeing none, we will move to the Jim Award, item number 3.
Sims?
Good morning, Chair, Mayor, Commissioners. It is my honor this morning to again bring to you one of our superheroes, one of our bus operators who have been extremely dynamic in terms of how she portrayed behavior on a particular day last month when an accident occurred on 98 North with an opposing bus operator. We have a paratransit which does house-to-house pickup, medical, and then we have a fixed route of service. She operated a fixed route service. The paratransit operator was heading south, and the vehicle ran the red light, so there was an incident, a major accident, to say the least. Angela Henry, she was coming south and recognized what was happening. She pulled over her bus safely, and when we reviewed the camera, we could see how panicked the paratransit operator was, sort of out of control. The other passengers on the floor. She got off, she went in, she took over everything precisely. She called dispatch, she reported the accident, and she stayed on the radio while she was comforting the operator who was in despair and distress. And with that, we want to commend her for her great work. She really stood out with her values, and for going beyond the expectation of your role and reflecting the highest standard of service, Angela, teamwork and integrity. Your conduct serves as an inspiring example to all of us and reinforces the value we strive to uphold here every day at Citrus Connection. With that, I want to present to you today the GEM Award for the month of January. Thank you so much.
Very well done. That's one of the highlights of serving at Citrus Connection are the stories of our team members that just take care of the public and one another. And we're just so grateful. Thank you, Paul, for always unearthing and celebrating our team. All right, moving on to page 14, we'll now move into our finance with Ms. Rhonda Carter. Page 14 starts the LambTag financials.
Okay. This is a LambTag monthly financials for the period of December 31st, 2025. Our revenues are 7.6 million or 49% of the annual budget. Farebox revenues are 80,000 or 23.5% of the annual budget. And Avalon taxes, the total budget revenues are 7.87 million. This represents 95% of the expected tax revenue per state law. As of December 2025, 7 million has been collected, which is 88% of the annual budget. Moving on to expenses for Lambtet for December 2025. Total expenses are 4.6 million or 27.6% of the annual budget. Salaries and benefit costs are 3.1 million or 26% of the annual budget. And materials and supplies total 161,000 or 18% of the annual budget. Based on the year-to-date budget to actual through December 31st, 2025, Lambtet has a favorable variance of $3 million with 25% of the fiscal year completed. Any questions?
Questions for Ms. Carter? Right, seeing none, we can move on to Polk County Transportation.
Polk County Transit Services monthly
Transit
financial statement through December 31st, 2025.
That starts on page 19.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Operating revenues realized are 5 million or 45% of the annual budget. City contributions received are 741,000, which is 104% of the annual budget. That just means we got 100% and it's 4% over. FDO operating expenses are budgeted at 2 million. As of December 2025, we received 56,000, which is 3% of the annual budget. We're just starting to build the grant, so you'll see those revenues increase as time goes on. Operating expenses for Polk County through December 25 are 2.8 million or 25% of the annual budget. Salaries and wages are 1.4 million or 22% of the annual budget. And actual revenues exceed expenses by 2.3 million.
And that's just a reminder that it exceeds because
The county
Because the county,
upfronts, front
Yeah.
loads. So, for Commissioner Scott, the chair, for transparency, last month, as we had noted, the Lakeland side of the house, Fund One, had run a significant financial deficit and we were living off of our reserves because the ad valorem revenues had not come in. And you can see from agenda item, LAMTD budget, those revenues came in. So now revenues exceed expenses. We do not have a similar scenario on the county side, which is why the county fronts the cash up front to leverage the federal and state grants and cover the operating. So now both of those two budgets are in line.
I just wanted to.
Yes, no, that's an excellent, yes.
That is-
And there was a major difference between the Lakeland Area Mass Transit District monthly financials last month that were running a deficit. And now that the ad valorem's come in running a surplus.
A quick question, what's the cost per service hour training this year or projected as to compared to last year?
The auditors will be here next month.
Okay.
And as soon as we have a preliminary number, we will share that with you. You can see the statistical trends. I'm sorry, I don't have the page numbers on mine.
yeah.
What page number is that on?
Where we're at.
I apologize. It could be,
16, is
yes.
it looking at the statistical the last
Yeah,
5 years?
yeah, so we went from
That's
117.66 in 2020, 130, 141, 161, and this year we're down to 125.
Yeah.
No assessing. But as soon as we have that preliminary number, we'll let you know.
We should update it after the audit.
Yes.
Just one question on the year-to-date summary. So last meeting we had it for the November 2025 fiscal year 24 to 25, we're 16% of the fiscal year complete. Then this one on our December 31st, we still have 16%. Where is the 16% derived from on the percent of year complete?
That's just based on the months in the year. So
Okay,
like if it's 12 months in a year, then whatever month we're in, that's how we come up with that completion number.
Right. So it's,
So we can check that number maybe down.
They've carried that number over.
Yeah.
okay, that makes
Excellent
sense.
catch, yeah,
Okay,
no,
okay.
it should not be static.
Cause one out of total 8%.
That's correct.
2 months is
That's
16.
correct, yes.
Okay, just wanna make-
Thank you for,
Okay.
yes,
Fix that.
the math is not mathing on it, yes, sir.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
We'll get that changed before the,
Okay.
before the minutes are adopted. Right?
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Moving on to any more questions?
Okay.
Okay,
We'll be on page 21 now.
we're on page 21. The monthly financials for December the 31st, 2025 for transportation disadvantage. Transportation disadvantage program is on a different fiscal year than Lakeland and Polk County Transit Services. Their fiscal year runs from July 1st through June 30th. Total revenues for transportation disadvantage are $658,665, which is 45% of the annual budget. And expenses are $628,881, which is 43% of the annual budget. Revenues exceeds expenses by $29,853. Any questions on that? All right.
That's doing another extension though, isn't it? Is it it's not?
It's a different year,
A different fiscal year.
fiscal year.
I
Right.
see that.
They're in April 1st
Right.
fiscal year. 90% funded by the state, 10% funded by the Polk County Board of County Commissioners. And for Commissioner Scott and others, obviously, when we go out and give our municipal updates to the cities every year, we just did Haines City this last week. We share their fixed route data, we share their paratransit ADA data, and then we also share their transportation disadvantage data. I'm sorry, 2 times a year. Thank you, Aaron.
Answer your question. Okay. All right. Thank you, Rhonda.
Yeah.
So with that, we'll move into planning with Nicole McCleary, the Director of Planning, to come, and we'll start with item 5A, the Avail renewal. It's on page 24.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, Board. Today I wanted to present to you the extension of the Avail ITS system maintenance and support agreement. So we've had Avail for quite a while. In April 2017, the board approved the original ITS system for maintenance and support as well. This was used to facilitate numerous activities that we do for reporting for NTD, FTA, and DOT, such as vehicle tracking, revenue miles, revenue hours, ridership tracking, and real-time GPS. In March of 2021, the board approved a 5-year extension of the maintenance and support agreement. In November of 2023, the board approved the upgrade of our antiquated Avail ITS system. If you guys recall, that was the big upgrade that we did last year and had completed. So this request is asking the Board of Directors approval for an additional 5-year extension of the maintenance and support agreement. Year 1 of this extension would be $175,311, and the expense is split 50-50 between Lambton and the county. The remaining 4 years would be split the same way, 50-50. Year 2 will be $179,171. Year 3 will be $183,140, and year 4 will be $187,519. Finally, year 5 will be $192,024. So the total cost of the agreement is just under $1 million at $917,165. And with signing up for the 5-year agreement, we have a savings of $91,717 from a year-to-year contract. With that, I would ask for approval of the 5-year extension of the Avail ITS system maintenance and support agreement.
Do we have a motion and a second? And then we'll go into discussion.
Motion for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Questions for Nicole?
Just a question, as far as the travel expenses that we're agreeing to reimburse Avail for, is there any markup allowed on that, or is that a straight pass through?
It's a straight pass through.
Other questions? We like the savings over that long period of time. That's helpful. All right, any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. We'll move to item 5B, which is page 25.
Okay, this is another approval item for the Better Utilizing Investments to Leverage Development grant, so the build grant. So as you all know, we kicked off with the intermodal project last month. So we're excited to get that going. One of the big things for the intermodal project is getting it to that 30% design. We are applying for the build grant to help support us moving it to 30% design. So with that, Citrus Connection will request $1.6 million and matched with 400,000 for a total project cost of $2 million. With the end of this phase of the project, we will then determine if we are going to do a traditional design bid build, or a phased design approach to get us to the final project.
And just for historical reference, this is something we've been working on since before I got here,
Absolutely.
Yes.
So,
2019.
yes,
Wow.
Yeah.
the current Lakeland terminal is obviously woefully inadequate for a variety of reasons, but most notably, typically train tracks and train easements and bus terminals do not play well together. And so the Lakeland Modal is a partnership with the city of Lakeland, FDOT and FTA. We have a regular working group. Nicole's heading that, and this will be a state-of-the-art intermodal facility that will really serve as a hub. We're still a spokes and hub model. So Imperial Polk County, 2,000 miles of roadways. We have our facility in Winter Haven, which serves us well. The intermodal in Lakeland will serve us well. We have the side of the Bartow garage that acts as a terminal, and then we have the Posner Park facility as well. So this will be, if and when Brightline comes or Sunrail comes, intermodal can work with that. Amtrak can work with that. Taxi, Uber, Lyft, cycling, and we'll build something again that's appropriate for what we need.
Yeah.
Where is this gonna be located?
Right now, Chuck, do you want to talk about some of the site locations? Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Chuck Army, Community Economic Development for the City of Lakeland. So really the site that's been selected is immediately on the north side of Army Funding Center, between Lemon Street and Main Street, just to the east of Concrete Products. So it's kind of about half of a city block in there that was selected through a DOT feasibility study that's completed back in 2019.
All right. Moving forward, do we have a motion in a second?
Motion to approve.
Okay, second.
No, we did that last time. I got ahead of myself this time. Other questions for Nicole? Yes.
When is this grant due application for?
The application for the grant is due February 23rd.
Oh, right around the corner.
Yes, yep, we're working hard on it.
Probably just about finished then, right?
We're getting there. We're getting there.
And the $400,000 is coming out of the Lakeland Area Mass Transit District CIP budget. So 100% of the costs are being borne by the Lakeland side of the house for this project.
Well, it's certainly time for a new one.
Yes.
Nothing wrong with security down there, though. I can tell you that.
No. Yes, yes.
But yeah, this is an exciting piece.
Yes, and obviously the city of Lakeland is aware, the CRAs are aware. We do, the Lakeland Area Mass Transit District does not own the current terminal. We lease it for, I believe it's $1 a decade from the city. So that would just be remitted back to the city for whatever use they intended when we would vacate the current property.
Okay, and then do we already have a consultant that we're working on for the architectural and engineering, or this is just getting funding in place, then we'd go out and procure the service from the NA?
Yes, so we are working with WSP right now on this first phase of the project, and it will carry us through to the 30% design. So we'll be working with them, with WSP on this particular phase. Then after we get to the 30% design, we will go out again to bid for determining how we're going to construct.
Okay, so WSP was the recipient of the award after a bidding process. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that catches me up. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, seeing no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we'll move into the strategic plan update.
Now for the fun part.
And if you don't want to click on your PowerPoint icon, you can see it on your screen.
Roswell, can you put up the All right, so we have just completed the first quarter of the fiscal year 26 strategic plan. And today we're going to provide with you our output, how we did for that first quarter. So,
All right, so
lots of slides. Go back one. So in June last year, we met as a group, the senior management team, some members of our regular team, as well as board of directors, and determined what success would look like.
so sorry. I think what I clicked on ours is not the same. We have spare. Is that for something later in the agenda?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, my
Yes.
bad. That was my bad.
Go back to the Adobe.
Yes.
Yeah, we can go back to the Adobe icon. Sorry, Nicole.
That's okay.
Okay, yep.
Okay,
So in June, as I was saying, the senior leadership, board of directors, the team really aligned on what we wanted to focus on for fiscal year 26. And that was customers, communities, and employees. Next slide, please. And we really focused on 3 measurable objectives, right? What we could really measure to see if we're achieving success. One was improving customer experience and ensuring that we're delivering 85% of service on time. The other one was investing in our employees and really focusing on retaining 90% of our workforce by doing different things. And then community value, we really wanted a benchmark of what is the community perception of the things Citrus Connection is currently doing. So we had 3 champions. Paul Sims, Director of Operations for improving customer experience. Tony Kirk, Director of Human Resources for investing in employees and community value. Aaron Kinlaw, Director of External Affairs. While these are our champions, remember that all departments really work together to make these things happen. And what you'll see in the results here are that things that are happening in the investing in employees and the community value already made an impact on the customer experience. So we're getting there. So we also wanted to create a cadence of accountability so that you didn't just hear about the strategic plan only at a retreat a year later, nobody remembers what we're doing, things like that. So every quarter, at the end of every quarter, we're going to come back and report to you on the metrics that we all decided and let you know how we're doing and what's happening and what's changed. So this quarter reporting includes October, November, and December, and it ended December 31st. Okay. Right. So our scoring methodology, we really weighted each KPI. So each KPI is weighted, and then based on where they are, the scoring for that specific KPI, it is then determined what percentage of the total point that we're receiving. Right, so we do have the overall scorecard here, and for our first quarter, we did receive we do have some areas that we know we need to improve, and we can already see some of the improvement happening. And then we scored higher in other areas such as the operator retention and the community perception. Some things that you'll see when Tony gets into the operator retention is that some of the policies and procedures, they're only at 50% because some things have to wait until next year to really kick in. Some things we've been getting them up and started, but they're not fully activated yet. So it's not a bad grade, it's just that it's not quite there yet, and it might not be there until the end of the year. But you know that.
well, and just to add into that really quick, it's really good to know these things. This is not I wouldn't feel bad about red. I'm just saying that for you and the team, like this is areas of opportunity. And so, and I'd rather see transparency and being upfront about it than, you know, trying to dig and trying to spend. So I appreciate you doing that.
Sure. And I think those areas of red really let us know, hey, this is something we need to focus on, right? And let's dig into it a little bit more and see what's happening. Okay, no, so. All right, so with that, I'm going to hand it over to our champion, Paul Sims, to talk about improving customer experience.
Thank you, Nicole. Good morning again, Chair and Board of Directors. My report today is a reflection of where we've come post-COVID. I think most people are aware how challenging it has been since post-COVID to have bus operators or even CDL operators for that matter. And we've struggled for quite some time. Prior to just about COVID, we had gone into Reroute 2020, where we designed a different format for service, which was sort of similar to a circulator format. Because of COVID and the challenges we had, we were not able to fully see the potential of what that could have done for us. But the residue of Reroute 2020 spilled over into what we're doing presently, which is two sections of, well, three for that matter. We have the Lakeway circulator, and we have the east and west side circulators that are working effectively. Now, at our retreat, as Nicole had said, we had an 85% statewide on-time performance, which is pretty much the industry standard. Currently, we are at a 71.16%, and we're looking forward to increasing that as we go along. Our road performance, we set a goal of 85%. Fully, we are at 8.2 that have actually gotten to 85% or more. And then missed trips, we set a goal of 1%. We're at about 3% at this time. Moving on.
Sorry, quick question on the table. So on the scoring, so we have a value weight 25 for each one of those four measures. But your missed trips at 3%, but your goal is less than 1%. At the end of all this, your total score 47.1. So we're not driving for that to be a 100 ever. It's what's the max. So your max is just going to be driven by that. I mean, typically I would say that the max score would be 100 is what you're going for. By the way the math works on that missed trip percentage being multiplied there, it'll never equal 100.
Yes, that's true. Something we have to take a look at and probably make an adjustment to.
Okay. Because we do ultimately want to have 100 because our
Correct.
okay.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry for the math. Just saying.
Thank you. Good point.
All right.
It's good.
Appreciate that.
Right.
So
It's engineering now.
Math, that's the math.
the next thing we're looking at is the on-time performance for each route. As you see in the green, we have all the routes that exceeded 85%, 80 or 85%. The routes between 80 and 84, then we have those in red. And that's our biggest challenge in how we move those into the line of yellow or green. Now, our idea is that if we work seriously hard at ensuring some of the things that Tony will address in his presentation, and Ms. Kilbrew will address in his presentation, with all the team working together, we'll see effectively improvement in those areas. As each department is tied into based on the support that each department gives each other.
Do you have an idea? Oh, sorry, do you have an idea of the ones that are in red? Like how much by what time frame are they missing being on time? Is it only a few minutes, or like an egregious amount of time where it's traffic based or other stuff where we're never going to achieve getting it to a on time average because of external factors that we aren't controlling?
Some of those factors that we're working on are reporting information in one aspect, and some of those routes are contracted out. So Marcia will talk about our new technology that we have for tracking. So we'll get better data coming through in a short order.
Commissioner Scott, I think you're bringing up a really good point that we spent a lot of time on as a senior leadership team on this slide. Is that far right red column?
Right.
Is it structurally the route? Is it the way that we have it designed? Is it realistic that it can be on time? So that is we have to look at foundationally, do those routes, can they function at a
Right.
successful rate, or do we need to make those changes?
Yeah.
And as Paul had alluded to, I think there may be a little bit of a GIGO, a garbage in, garbage out on some of those reds. The 4044, 16X, 18X, and 50, which is 4 of the routes that are there, are all our partner in transitions, our contractor on the east side of the county. And so I've asked for a meeting with them next week because I want to understand the data that they provided to us
Right.
on that as well. And then when we get to Marcia's agenda item, you'll see we're going to require that they start using our system,
Right.
but we're meeting on that. But I think it's great as a new board member, you're keying in on, we need to focus on the structural nature of those. And is it realistic?
Right.
Or do we need to reinvent the route?
And again, it's a miss by 1 minute to where, okay, it's at
Right.
37.6%, but it's only
Right.
missing it by 45 seconds, a minute and a half, or is it missing it by 15 minutes,
Right.
30 minutes? Other, like,
Absolutely.
what's the magnitude of
Right,
disturbance
and is it
to?
missing it by 15 minutes every run of the bus,
Correct.
which means it's a structural,
Right, right.
it's an unrealistic route.
Right.
Commissioner Lalonde.
Thank you very much, Mayor. The pink line that's the new line that we had added through.
Pink's medical corridor.
I was gonna say, it's not.
We're getting,
cuts.
Lakeland Hills.
yeah. So pink is medical corridor. So that's probably pretty accurate given the Lakeland Hills.
I was only asking because I know that you had made some modifications to the pink line.
We do have a
Through the north district and then
Yeah.
bring back.
Yes, that is not, and that was a genius recommendation by Chuck Barnby, who's here today, to jog it over to Gow Fields so that they can connect from North.
Gotcha. That makes
That
sense.
that's a direct reflection of Lakeland Hills construction.
That's good.
Um,
I didn't think it. I know that there've been so many in all the neighborhood meetings. They love it. So it's like, so they're looking at a 56% and they were, we asked about it. So
I think we had done the math that Chuck's recommendation cut 26 minutes off the North Lakeland
well, that should.
time to get to the medical corridor
Correct.
prior to the construction.
That's correct.
Okay, so our next slide, we're looking at missed trips. And as Tom and us, we discussed yesterday about missed trips. A trip to the airport where your flight didn't make it is really gauged as a cancellation. Here, we measure it as a missed trip. Now, one of the challenges that we are at 3% of missed trips presently. And our next slide will explain carefully why we are at that percentage. If you look at the graph, you will see where a number of the angle that it takes, the sharp angle. Now, a part of that has to do with how when we're short, operators, how we close routes. So we go from normally a 30-minute service to a 60-minute service. So it doesn't necessarily mean that we close the route completely. What we've done is that where there are 4 buses on a route, we remove 2, and because we're short in operators, and we allow service. So if you're a customer waiting at the bus stop, you're gonna be waiting for an extended time. Instead of 30, it could be 45 or 50 minutes wait to see the next bus comes around. And we did that mostly with the goal line and the peach line. So that's a part of what you're seeing there in that graph. And the blue line, we have quite a number of blues, so we normally go there. So it's a strategy that we use to ensure that all routes are supported, that our customers are not left hanging on a daily basis. And one of the things to note is that in doing so, we tend to be more strategic because on the east side of the county, we don't have the same leverage we have here in Lakeland where we have 4 buses on a route. So if we were to do that in the Winter Haven or that side of the county, if we remove a bus, what it means is that those customers would not have service at all. So we make sure that we're considerate to the customer's need. So most of what you see here, the 92% of missed trip occur here in Lakeland and not in the east side of the county. And to our grade, we're not proud of where we are, but we have seen significant signs of how we can be effective moving forward. Just looking at December, where we became fully staffed. We could go back to the graph on page for the missed trips. We could see the difference, October, November to December. There we go. That is where we are. In October, we were at 474. November, we had 427, and December, we were at 136. Now, I'm pretty sure, because we do real daytime tracking, and I'm pretty sure that today we can say, since January, we have not closed around. So I think that's a good place to be. The next report coming through will be showing signs of that result for the month of January. Any questions from?
Going back to the missed trips, I know less than 1% their goal, 3% for currently are. What is in the industry, what is considered like a high number of missed trips when we're talking about percent miss?
You know, we spoke about that earlier, and I don't know if it is measured on fixed route in that sense. Power transit, yes, but for fixed route, I don't think they measure missed trip. They would just see it as a cancellation.
Gotcha. Just in helping that score, because obviously that's messing with your 47%. And then the other question I had, you mentioned if you had a route that has 4 buses normally, but you're short staffed and you take 2 buses off, it makes it to where it's a 60-minute route pickup versus 30-minute route.
Correct.
The 30-minute pickup that is not done, is that counted in both a missed trip and
On-time performance.
Okay, on-time performance. So it's both of
We
them.
get double
Correct.
hit.
Right, okay, got it. Okay.
Absolutely. That's a great point.
So that's gonna give it
Yep.
a bit too. Okay.
Yeah, and again, we want to be, Commissioner Scott, we wanted to be transparent
Oh,
in our
sure.
grade
Right.
that there is a impact to, you're still getting a ride, which is
Right.
excellent. But you're not getting that ride at the time you thought you were going to get
Right.
it, which means that inevitably your trip was delayed, which means it's affecting the on-time performance. And then that bus is at capacity, over capacity, more wheelchair boardings, more bikes, more time where people think there's spots on the bike rack and there isn't, so they have to chain it up. So
Right.
that route inevitably runs late as well. So we're getting double hit, which is
Okay.
why we don't want to have any missed trips and why what Tony has done is so important to get us fully staffed, because if we have somebody in that seat, that we're gonna have success.
Right.
Commissioner Long.
Thank you. Just to add, Commissioner Scott here, the West County routes. We have any little bit more to the definition of that? Is that primarily Northwest District? I mean, we're pretty much furthest west.
No, that would be,
Whereabouts where we're at.
that would be the west, that would be the peach line, the gold line, blue, you are.
I see this.
You are blue 1, blue 2.
We're blue one, blue
Yes.
one, too. But the 30, 60 minutes.
You're, yes, sir.
we're
The answer to your question is yes.
Having an inconsistency then, that's just the hiring.
That's correct. Yes, sir. The inconsistencies occurring on peach, gold, and blue. Pink is because of traffic,
Pink is traffic.
lemon, silver, and the circulator.
And those are all Lakeland
And
routes.
those are all Lakeland routes.
Yeah,
So we're
primarily Northwest.
That's-
They're all. Lakeland
Yeah, yeah.
routes.
that's cannibalizing
Yeah.
those to make sure that everything runs.
Okay.
More questions? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Kirk?
Madam Chair, members of the board. We're gonna talk about operating retention right now. Let me caveat by saying that that grade that you've seen previously will change. And the reason why it will change is because of these numbers. So you see this 84.6%, and yeah, it's in the red. We're really not concerned about that, to be honest with you. Why? Because that's just a small percentage before we get to where we need to get to. Actually, this number is probably higher than this as of today. Currently, right now, we have 97% of our total vacancies filled within the agency.
That's awesome.
And
I know.
full
That's such a
disclaimer,
good thing.
it ain't a Tony Kirk thing. It's just a thing that Tony Kirk happened to lead. I have a really, really good team, recruiting team that's on the hustle, working with everyone in this room to fill these vacancies. So when we get these vacancies filled, then Paul and his group, they can use their extra board process and things of that nature to better man the routes and things of that nature. And so this number is going to continue to go up. When you talk about 90-day retention, one of the things that you have to realize is sometimes when you bring people into organizations, quite frankly, they're looking for employment. And so they really don't know what they're getting into until they get here. And so, but what we do is we just really wrap our arms around them, bring them in, and try to make it family right at the start. Because they know that the Citrus Connection cares about them. We want them here, and we maintain, you know, our ability to keep them here. It's easy to get them in the door, you got to be able to keep them, and that's what we're doing. Next slide, please. We hired 26 new operators in the first quarter. When I came here, I'm just going to use this term, we were bleeding out. We were probably 25, 30, 35 operators down. Tom said, hey man, we need to get, I'm gonna use this term, we need to get some butts in seats. My philosophy is, yes, sir, we need to get people in the driver's seats, but they need to be quality people in the driver's seats. And it's those quality people that we retain. And so with that being said, Kennedy Jones is our all things ambassador to Citrus Connection. And when she brings these people in, she walks them around, she introduces them to everyone, and they just really, really feel like they're welcome. And so, again, we hired 26 people. Right now today, again, we're 97% full. I did just some quick research, and there's not a whole lot of research in the transit industry on retention rates and things of that nature. But in 2022, I'll tell you that Hart, right up the street, they had 20% of their vacancies. 20%. We talked about the 84%. That will not be 84%. It'll be higher than that the next time we report.
Commissioner Santiago.
Just congratulations. I mean, I remember
Yes.
when we were not even halfway close to that. So to hear it from 97%, that's great.
And that's across the board. Of course, you know, the vast majority of our employee base is our fixed route operators and our paratransit operators. But again, 97% in this economy is something to be celebrated. And we're going to just continue to work hard to retain those numbers.
Do you hire substitute drivers?
No, we do not.
So you don't.
No, all of the only part-time positions that we have are our shuttle operators, our squeeze operators. Those are the only part-time positions.
So I'm going back to operation. If a driver is out that day,
We have extra board, what we call extra board positions, which are now fully staffed. So they bid on a route, and that route is effectively to come in for the day and plug any openings that we have, scheduled or unscheduled.
Right.
And the extra board bench should be deep enough that we can manage the vacation calendars managed so that we're never downing routes due to vacations. Now, we had to do that through COVID to still give people time off. And then there are extra board operators who hopefully report to work in the break room and are doing nothing initially, other than maybe, training or continuing education. Someone goes home sick, They're flat tire,
So
you're in the
use
car
those.
and you're out. Absolutely.
Okay, well, that takes the place of substitute drivers.
Yes.
In other words, we just don't cancel that or anything like that, we don't have enough people.
Right.
We always
Uh,
have people on board.
As of today, yes. Over the last 3 years since COVID,
Oh,
No,
absolutely.
but that's
That
the
was
goal.
the
That's what she's
question.
asking. The goal is that we already have a bench.
And the operators, when they get their bid package through the union, they know if they're bidding a package of routes that they're driving or they're bidding extra board.
Commissioner Long.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yeah.
My question is, just for clarity, what does it cost to onboard each one of these associates? I mean, cause we certainly want a retention, and I loved hearing that you say, we're not just trying to put butts in the seats, but we want to put the right butts in the seats to ensure that we're getting a quality associate. But what's the average cost to
I'll
onboard?
be honest with you, sir, I don't have that information at this particular point in time. What I will tell you, it actually cost us, when they leave, it costs us more money when they leave than
I'm
it
aware
does
of that.
when we bring them on. And so, but certainly I can get that number for you and provide that to you later on this afternoon.
I appreciate it.
You can keep going. Sorry. We hijacked you a little bit there with questions, but go ahead.
No. Hijack me with all the questions that you have. I mean, so this is very important to us. Yay, first time since 2020. And you see the numbers. They speak for themselves. In December, look at that.
Yeah,
0, 6 routes.
awesome.
That's fine. B. We're not okay with that. But we realize and we understand the realities of things. One of the really cool things, and as I wrap up my presentation for this morning, one of the cool things that we're doing to retain our employees is we're bringing services to them that they may not normally be able to get, especially our fixed route people. A couple of weeks ago, we brought a mobile dental clinic here. And our employees had the opportunity to come in and get a free cleaning and things of that nature. And they didn't have to make an appointment other than the appointment here. And so we're going to bring some of those more
That's awesome.
innovative, creative things. Next on our agenda is a mobile eye clinic. And then I'd like to do something every quarter, and then a mobile dermatology clinic, all those types of things. Bringing those types of services right here to the employee. So I stand for any further questions that anyone may have.
None good.
Yes.
So I know on the kind of the summary slide, you said it was will retain 90% of its workforce by providing competitive wages and benefits, and then as measured by developing and executing a new collective bargaining agreement and healthcare package. My question to that is, was the existing one inadequate comparative to the surrounding transit? Like, where did we stand when we're talking about developing as a new one?
That's a great question, and by way of explanation, I've only been here since April, but prior to that, I believe that a wage comparison study had gone out universally within the United States and within our region. And I think we brought our wages up to a comparable wage because, quite frankly, this is kind of my opinion. I don't know that we necessarily have any competition within the transit industry. Where our competition lies is with people like Publix and other entities that do transportation and require CDLs in order to drive.
Right.
And so oftentimes, they can certainly offer a better wage. What we can offer is a more close-knit family and insurance and those benefits that help them to take care of their family.
Commissioner Scott, a number of years ago, the board of directors, when we did our wage study, we took effectively the minimum wage we took the minimum wage of the Citrus Connection to $18 an hour. Currently, the driver's entry-level driver is just over $20.66, I think, was it this fiscal year? Something close to that. We pay 100% of the medical coverage. 70% for dependents, the FRS, the medical, the dental, the vision, AFLAC. So it's I would call it a very robust program, but I will tell you from a recruiting standpoint, we have to explain to this generation what a pension even is.
Right.
When we say we've got the Florida retirement system pension, they go, what's a pension?
Right.
So explaining, what that looks like. And then to be totally frank with you, we've always had a very, very robust, what I would call open choice PPO plan. But we're not immune to the issues that you are at the county or you are at the city. And so in order to keep that healthcare free and be able to have Rhonda still want to work here so that we can balance the budget, we're constantly pulling levers. So, our emergency room went up from $300 to $400 so that we could take the urgent care from $100 down to $60. We took telehealth then from $5 to free. We took specialty from 80 to 60. But what that meant, the unintended consequence of that was that rehab was considered, each rehab visit was considered a $60 copay, which it hadn't been before. And so when you're looking at the fact that we have many employees who've been here 10, 15, 20, 30 years, and I'm very proud of that, they've seen, the perception is a degradation of those benefits because we've had to change the levers of copays coverages.
Right.
When you compare that to the market, it's still exceptional.
Right.
But if it's all you've ever known,
Right.
it's
Your-
Citrus Connection,
Right. Your frame of reference.
your frame of reference.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Very distorted.
So that's a very brief history, but we have a really, really good relationship with the union. And Tony and I'll start negotiations with the TW 525 this summer and have something to you well in advance of the October requirement. And for the budget.
And do we do that as a multi-year agreement or is that your?
We've typically done 3 years.
Right.
They've typically asked for 1 year. We've typically asked for 3 years.
Yeah.
And I will tell you that that typically the negotiations last 2 full days. And then typically we give the union about a month or 3 weeks to communicate with their members.
Right.
Historically, at the Citrus Connection, the union agreement has failed at least twice. And then typically on the 3rd or 4th ratification with very minimal changes, it passes. So that's, I would say, historically what you can expect, but we get the whole thing done typically in two kind of half-day sessions.
Okay, and we're getting that advanced enough to where they're not having disparity on those union members as far as pay. There's not a delay and.
No, sir, no, sir, not at all, no. Typically, we're Rhonda and I are very transparent. It's here's what we have to offer is our philosophy. Here are the dollars. You tell us how you want to spend them. If you want to keep healthcare as the status quo.
Right.
Then it really comes down to divvying that up. A number of years ago, they traded, was it Columbus Day? Columbus Day
Yeah.
for their birthday,
Yeah.
for example.
Okay.
So the riders won because we turned Columbus Day into a service day. And they get a floating holiday the week of their birthday. That was a sweetener that was added because it had failed 3 times. And so we made that one little change. It sounded good to them.
Right.
It was a win for the riders and then it passed.
Thank you.
Western St. Cottage, you have something? I couldn't tell if your hand. Tony, I just want to add really quick, any type of services we can provide on site like that, I think is a huge win, that it's a smaller cost, but when you think about people having to take time to take care of themselves, usually they put themselves at the bottom of the list and they take care of their families, but giving that opportunity it's very creative. And I just want to applaud you all because, doing derm, doing dental's huge. And that's a number one factor that affects your overall health that sometimes we don't think about. And we sometimes kick that to the bottom of the list. So I really think that's a great idea with retention and supporting our team. But lots of other great ideas in here. You're so close to, I know this number is going to go up, but it's exciting to see, especially coming for Commissioner Santiago and I for being here through the dark days of not enough staff. We were going to drive a bus at one point. Thank you. We weren't, but it was.
Safety and security, just.
Yeah, safety, everyone's switching over.
Yeah,
I was, listen, It was.
It was bad.
It was not good. No, I don't know. That's just a.
Good morning, Madam Mayor, Commissioner. Mine will be the shortest of the three, just because we had our in-depth community perception, presentation last month. Thank you. So, this is basically all the information you saw last month. And I would like to thank my team. This, when you see the numbers of how many presentations we did in a quarter, it's super impressive. But with a county this size and only having 4 people, it's challenging at best. So 56 presentations, these were all given just by 4 people. This is Kiwanis's, this is walking downtown Lakeland, downtown Harpo, downtown Lake Wales for the squeeze, Lions clubs, those kinds of things. The next one is travel training. So Delicia and Shonda, who are on my team, Shonda does the Winter Haven urbanized area, Delicia does the Lakeland urbanized area, and essentially travel training is what it sounds like. They are training people on how to use our system. A lot of times it is people that have ridden our ADA service before, and we're trying to teach them how to ride the big bus. Sometimes it's group presentations, kind of like a train the trainer type situation. And then the government meetings is typically me. Lately it has been Tom. And those are commission meetings, those kinds of things. The minus really annoyed me. But we got an A-. And again, I just want to reiterate that this is the community perception. This is not a ridership. We are going to do the ridership this quarter, the ridership. So our customers, we will do that perception this quarter, and that'll still be done through our consultants.
Yes, Commissioner Long.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would just like to congratulate you and your team. I cannot tell you, I think like they're running against me for my next campaign. They are everywhere, you know? And I saw a couple of them bundled up on First Friday. I didn't know if I was gonna rub a couple of hand warmers or something while it. But an excellent job, because it doesn't make a difference where I'm at. Whenever there seems to be an event, they've always made a presence, so.
Thank you. Kaylee schedules everything that they do.
Well, they've been great.
Most of my emails are just notifications of where they're going to be. So yes, thank you.
Well, they
We
are
appreciate
everywhere.
it. Thank you. It's challenging with a county this size and 4 people, but we managed to get it done. And social media helps too. We have contracted now with Donovan Tinsley at Tinsley Creative. He is now running our social media campaign. So that helps significantly as well, because it leaves Dave to do things that he needs to be doing, not just worrying about posting.
Make sure you put Donovan to work. He's great at it. So.
Oh, we have no issues putting Donovan to work.
If I can ask, what did I get myself into? But that'd be nice.
Thank you.
And if I may, just for Commissioner Scott, to point out the travel training numbers. Commissioner Scott, it's really twofold on the travel training. Number one, at our core, we want people to be as independent as possible. And if they can use fixed route services rather than paratransit services, it obviously opens up more opportunities for them, not only for their personal independence, but routing and not having to worry about transferring buses and those types of things, but also it's economic.
Right.
And we want to be good stewards of the taxpayer dollar. So our most expensive trip that is least reimbursed from the federal and state level is paratransit.
Right.
Our cheapest trip is fixed route. So if we can get them on fixed route, not only is it foster independence for them, but we're being a good steward of local taxpayer dollars. And to that end, 14 years ago, the board passed a policy that if you are registered for the paratransit service, which gives you a card with your picture on it,
Right.
you can ride the fixed route service for free. So it further incentivizes them. So the paratransit service is $2 each way, regardless of mileage.
Right.
Which doesn't sound like a lot, but it adds up if it's your only mode of transportation. So it's a further financial incentive. So I just wanted to point that out because it's about being a good steward of the dollars while helping people be self-sufficient.
I appreciate that. Thank
Tom,
you.
can I add to that? The
Please, yeah.
27 number for the travel training is also mobile reloads. So Marcia's team goes into the community and reloads cards for those that can't get to us. So she will go to, well, she doesn't go, but her team will go to the terminals. We go to the bridge in Auburndale. We go into facilities so that we can do that for them so that they, you know, the ones that can't get to us. So that number did include the mobile reloads as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, so this is our overall scorecard. We have 219 points out of 300. Yes, so we're right at a C for our first quarter, our first try. We will continue to work on those things that really, doing the strategic plan has really made out to us, right? Like, we knew we needed help there, but this really shows the dire straits of some of those routes and things like that. So our teams will go in and dig in and look at analytics, see how the routes are running, what can be improved there, as well as hoping to see those changes with the operators, the new operators and the retention, and see if that will help as well. Overall grade, B-. But we'll keep improving.
This is a really,
It's a good start.
well, it's a really good baseline.
Yeah.
You to know, to look at what's behind the curtain and to really dig into it, as you said, and really. Because we can look at these things either as board members or even you all on staff. And, you know, if you look at it in one dimension on a PowerPoint, that's different than actually digging in and figuring out, okay, and inventorying, okay, we've done this, 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 and this, and why is that still not working? We do know that, like Lakeland Hills Boulevard, that's DOT, that's not us, Chuck, right? The city, that is extenuating circumstance, so that's gonna hijack and kind of, you know, make it difficult for people to navigate, literally. So how do we do that? And our team here, I think, is really good at figuring out, you know, how do we do better? And your open-mindedness to having a C- is actually huge, I think, in public service, is recognizing exactly where we are, not sugarcoating it, and saying this is, and these are areas we can fix, and it's being good stewards too. So I know everybody here is a little twitchy about a C. I'm a solid C student. I'm happy with it, but that was a joke. I think it gives us a really solid, honest baseline, and that's what I think we strive to do. Other questions for Nicole before we let her off the hook?
I just want to say for next presentation, which is, I'm looking at the agendas, right?
Yeah.
If we can have a column of how we did in this
Previous.
presentation.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Made that way. we
That's
can-
great.
Yeah.
Increase, I'm not even gonna say decrease, but increases.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
that would be great.
So,
Yeah. That's the educator and Dr. Santiago coming out.
All right, well, thank you all so
Thank you.
much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
We can fix some math and get to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Please, ma'am.
Anyway, we're gonna improve.
And now we're gonna go to the PowerPoint I directed you to earlier. I was wrong. The spare.
Hello, good morning, Madam Chair and Board. So I'm here today just to talk about we want to migrate from our legacy scheduling program that we currently use on fair transit operations, and move to a fair technology, which we believe that we can get some efficiencies like our partners at Botrain and PSTA. The migration, next slide, please. So some of the key driving decisions on why we want to migrate from TrackPeas to Spare is number one, cost savings, data collection, customer service, a more reliable system, and the efficiency that we believe that we can gain. And other partners have gained as well. So Spare offers a direct connection, which would decrease the amount of different windows that our staff have to log in to access the scheduling program. With one system and one connection, we no longer have to worry about multiple vendors when we're trying to troubleshoot an issue that the call center staff or someone from finance or someone putting reports for me to have. And so this one system and one connection minimizes the disruptions that we may have from day to day, but it also gives us opportunity to get the system up and running faster. Next. So there's quite a bit of efficiency that we believe the program provide us, but not only us, but Fortran and like I said earlier, PSA has had also. This program will enhance the customer's experience by improving the scheduling, the more real-time data. So that they'll know where the bus actually is instead of getting an estimate time. It improves the response time for a missed trip. So for those that don't know, a missed trip could be, I go to the doctor's office or to dialysis, and for some reason, my appointment ran late. Now I go to an unscheduled list. And then the system, the dispatchers would have to then route the next bus to them. So what that does is now if PT Connect is idle, it reduces the slack time. The dispatchers no longer have to, manually look for a solution. They have the system will automatically optimize the schedule and send the trip to the operator's manifest. Some of the efficiencies, that's where the drivers would be more real-time data. They have right turn, left turn options. And the dispatcher will have more scheduling power, giving them more ability to be able to gain efficiencies and control the services on the street. One of the key things for every decision we make is to make sure that the experience that the customer has drives our decisions on what we actually want to do. So this system will allow self-serve eligibility. So we don't have to have a lot of paper for every application that we receive. It will give the customer the opportunity to submit an application online. That application that they submit online would then go into our system, and our intake specialist who's responsible for scheduling or processing the application will now have an online opportunity, which will decrease the amount of time that the customer would decrease the amount of the eligibility process because everything will be online. It just becomes streamlined. The benefit to that is that the customer now has access to use the service faster, right? So if they're able to submit the eligibility application online. We don't have to wait for the applications to come in the mail or by fax or whatever. So they submit the application. Our team gets the application electronically, and they're able to process the application, which will reduce the amount of time that the customer will be able to use the service. And then the real-time data talked about earlier, this system will allow the customers to have more of currently our program, they can see where the bus is, where the bus is in estimate time. But this system has more of an Uber or Lyft feel by using an app. They're able to look on the thing and kind of know where the bus is and how many stops they are from. So data collection is important in transportation because it basically gives us benchmarks for KPIs. It gives us the opportunity to look and see how the bus is running. One of the things we report on all the time is no shows and cancellations. So this, the dispatcher has an ability to see a real-time dashboard on how the routes are performing. Are there any routes running on time, no shows, and basically vehicle utilization today by looking at a dashboard and not having to wait until tomorrow to run reports. So we get same day data and not having to run reports the next day to get the data by looking at a dashboard. So our current system does have reports built into our system, but they're canned reports that oftentimes they're just generic reports. And so as a result, sometimes when there are requests for certain data that the reports don't necessarily give us, it requires us to kind of pull data from the system and export it and work to try to pull the data. So we may pull 3 or 4 different reports just to get the data that Rhonda may ask me for. So this new system will allow us to run custom reports. And it will decrease the amount of time from when she requests a report from me to when I actually get it to her. And because we have to report for different stakeholders, for the state and federal, for grants, and then for one of the things we have to do for transportation disadvantage is we have to forecast the amount of trips and the amount of miles that we may potentially do next year for our rate model. So the new system will help decrease the amount of data reporting the gaps that we have. And so our goal for one of the most things that we love about the program is the analytics with the system. Polk County is growing, mass rates have been growing for probably 4 or 5 years. And so there's an increasing need to make data-driven decisions. The ability to be able to self-serve and automate reports is going to be key to linking the inputs and outputs and determining what we should be forecasting in the years to come. And so there's cost savings. At Citrus Connection, we pride ourselves on making decisions and being good stewards of taxpayers' dollars. And because of that, we believe that this program would gain it by having efficiencies. It's going to equal to cost savings, regardless, because we're running the routes more effectively. The ability to be able to forecast data and to see, how we're doing by running a CAN reports, a custom report, to give us more of a data-driven decision on what we're on how to determine if we need more operators for the following year. So our annual cost savings for this program is right around $32,000 compared to our other program that we use, with the cost savings for about $163,000 over a 5-year period. So we believe that the program will not only be effective, the data we receive from it will increase our decision making, will help with our decision making, and the annual cost will help us save money tremendously. Next slide. I stand for questions because it is no school.
You know, I'm gonna ask something.
Well, no, I could see you taking notes. I love it. I think.
I'll have to go first though.
No, you can go.
All right.
Yeah.
So a couple of things, the savings of the 32,000 annually comparative to our current system, is that factoring in assumed efficiency savings, or is that true like cost of
That's
the
actually
application?
cost. Implement the system. It does not include the efficiency.
Right, so those would be more, okay, gotcha. For the online application that you were speaking of, so currently a customer cannot apply online at all, is that correct? It has to go through the
They
mail?
can download an application, but there's no option to actually complete the application online.
Gotcha, so they're downloading it, submitting it through mail or fax, like you're saying, okay.
Now,
Once-
I will say is that, for transportation disadvantaged customers, this is gonna be huge.
Yeah.
Right, because it's a two-page application that only they have to complete.
Got it.
For nursing homes, they sit in their office and they sit behind their desk at a nursing home or assisted living facility, and they complete the application. The downside to that is some doctors may not necessarily want to log in and complete it. They may require the customer to still print it out. And then, or the customer can complete the portion that they can complete. And then we can they can take the other part to the doctor.
Or they could still print off what they need for the
Yes,
application.
we'll
right?
still have printed applications, but a lot of doctors' offices want to actually have a tangible item of what they actually
Okay.
filled out for the customer.
When we go to the online app, when that gets completed online and submitted, is that going to have the ability to be automated on some of the evaluation of that application, or it'll be all human interface to approve that application?
No, the humans will still approve it. My team will still review and approve the application. But
Okay,
they would get notification that the application has successfully received it.
right.
And we've completed the eligibility process.
I didn't know if there would be something in the future, we talk about efficiency, can that be evaluated since it's an online form? If you've got criteria to set those thresholds and let the system evaluate the eligibility. I mean, if there's a subjective question, then do it, but I mean, obviously, the other parts of it, I'm assuming would be yes or no, if they meet the criteria.
I don't, because it's the state funded program, it does right, there are the areas that, some things is, you can look at application, I can go ahead and process it.
Got it,
There are some things through the application, you have to ask, leading questions. And right now, I don't know of a scheduling program or eligibility program that has AI capability to be able
Okay.
to process an application.
okay, got it. And just a couple more, as far as the There was one part that mentioned about added cost, or I guess certain features may have added cost, or was that just talking about cost in general? I didn't really understand. Okay.
So we currently have a trapeze program that we, at Citrus Connection had since 2004. And then with the merge in 15.
15.
We kind of brought all of our data into folks' data that they had since 2004. There's been upgrades along the process, but a lot of times, the report features for that particular program don't have, say you asked me a question related to some data and there's no report, there's no one report that would combine a question you may have, a question from Madam Chair may have, that I can come and submit to you the data. We would need to, because they're CAN report, we don't have the ability to run custom reports.
Okay.
It basically comes out how it comes out.
Got it.
And we can export the data and then put them all on the sheet together, but that's exporting 2 or 3 files to one file.
Okay.
And that's how we, figure out to get her on the request. This particular program, you can say, I want this, I want this, I want this. And then it pushes out the report.
And that's already included in the fee that we're paying.
If I call Trapeze up for a special
Right.
report right now, it may cost us $6,000
Got it.
for one report. Yeah.
Understood. Okay, thank you.
Yay, 2026.
That's good stuff.
Commissioner Lloyd?
Yes.
Just, when will the implementation go in effect, and when do we expect our first round of actual measurable KPIs, maybe based off of last year's trapeze reports?
So we're scheduled to meet either this Thursday or next Thursday. I don't know if we talk about the timeline and implementation. One of the things we're gonna have to work on is getting all of our data from trapeze, emergent, exported and putting it in there. But our goal to have everything in place would be live before our October date. That's gonna be our goal. So that we can make sure that we can have a fresh start.
And I'd actually refer to the rest of the board, maybe this, don't think you need every single item coming off of trapeze, but maybe like an exit going baseline. You know, just their exit with, that's $6,000 a report, I don't think we need that.
Well, I think the
That's a
merge would be
special-
different.
Yes.
It is.
The
Yeah.
dropping the data in would be different than asking for a special report, yes.
We will need their support in certain things, but we very well may be able to I don't know what the cost would be to take the data from trapeze to Spare.
And that's.
What I will say is there's ways we can export certain data.
Yeah.
Only thing that I know we can't export out of
Hey,
trapeze.
sorry, you're losing us, let me help you give you the
Yeah.
information.
Yeah, well, it's our data.
So.
Yeah.
But
Hey,
we had a-
Hey.
Sorry to start with.
Jeff is here. I'm sorry, Jeff, what's his last name? Horswell from Spare.
Yeah,
Sorry.
and Matt Savell is here from Spare as well. And just speaking of the data migration, all of that stuff is all included within the actual quote that we put forward. So there's no extra costs. There's no hidden costs associated with that when we are migrating data. So just want to make that clear that we're what we presented to the Citrus Connection team is what we've designed it for all implementation costs associated with it.
Jeff, can you answer the question? I think they were concerned whether it would be a cost for trapeze to pull the data when you work with PSTA, or do you recall any additional hiccups for the exports?
To my knowledge, no. We've done trapeze migrations very frequently. And it's just a matter of collecting the data from them, which there should be no charges.
Because we do have a support contract with them, that we pay part of $167,000 a year, currently with Trap. So we do have a support contract with them.
Yeah, and then there was also a question about metrics, like how quickly you'd be able to evaluate the new system, and ideally we see early success within a month of being live on Spare and having that transition. So you'd be able to evaluate what the difference is based on OTP, missed trips, canceled trips, passengers per vehicle hour, all of the things associated with, you know, making critical decisions for your team and your organization within at least a month, I believe.
That's excellent.
Great. Yes,
More for-
Commissioner Smith.
Yeah, since Spare is on, just from your technology that obviously is a market improvement from what we're currently on, where do you see the implementation of AI within your current offerings and how does that advance it in the near term?
Yeah, it's a great question. We have AI integrated throughout the software, and as to what Marcia was mentioning earlier, from a report standpoint, that's how those reports and ingesting all of that data, and then, you know, for lack of a better term, regurgitating that customized report for you. That's what we use AI for. In addition to that, we use AI in our Spare engine, is what we like to call it, the booking algorithm. So which again makes sure that folks are getting to their appointments on time, and it's again calculating all the different metrics and data to make sure that your OTP stays above 96 to 97%, and making sure you're collecting that revenue as it pertains to each trip. And then in addition to that, we also partner with Google Live Maps. So that AI combined with Google Live Maps, again, optimizes the best solution for efficiency and getting folks to their appointments. And AI, again, is just built throughout the whole system. It's a priority for us.
Perfect, thank you.
Any other questions? This is an approval item. We need a motion.
Motion for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Marcia.
Thank you for your.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, folks.
All right, next item on our agenda, Tom.
Excellent. I have to say, I've been working with Trapeze for 35 years, my entire professional career. And I am thrilled that we're moving away from it. So, I mean, ultimately, I worked at the world's largest trapeze site, and they were 6 versions behind. Every time they tried to upgrade the version, it would crash. And they were never able to use them as a reference, and still aren't today because they're so dissatisfied with the product. But largely, Trapeze's business model had been to buy out their competitors. So when Marcia talked about having to talk to multiple vendors, effectively, these were all independent organizations that provided something that Trapeze then purchased and brought in under their large umbrella. And it just became more and more unmanageable as you tried to modernize with them. The nice thing about this is that it's all at one organization. So I'll be brief because I know this is a little bit of a longer meeting than normal, but I want to thank Nicole and Aaron. They've been working with Bartow. We are excited that shortly we'll be talking about a Bartow circulator and a multi-year for a Bartow circulator. Obviously, the Lake Wales circulator has been extremely successful, as has the Peach Line in Lakeland. Ben is not able to be here today, but Mr. Darby, but we are working on finalizing a Winter Haven squeeze agreement with Winter Haven. Commissioner Santiago, I know that's something that's been a passion for you. The Lakeland squeeze numbers, just to share with folks, in 2022, we did 5,800 rides. In 2023, we did 16,000. 2024, we did 26,000. And in 2025, we did 40,000. So squeeze is growing quickly. We met with Commissioner Ashley Troutman and gave him a transit briefing. That's not something we typically do with new commissioners that are not on our board currently, but he wasn't able to meet with us during his candidate briefing. So he came in and we had a great conversation. Also, by the time we see you next time, the Tigertown Express will be running. We're all set for that excellent experience. So if you're heading to the game, I know most of you are going to be on the field opening day. But if you head out any other day or even that day, the Tigertown Express is available for you and it's free. Everything's on www.ridecitrus.com. And then the Haines City Commission yesterday had their City Commission Day and utilized Citrus Connection. We're able to do that because it's not considered charter service. It's available to the County Commission, City Commission, and any of our partners for official government business. So they were able to traverse through the community using Citrus Connection to see their community, and they were appreciative. And we also gave their city commission an update on transit, and they were very appreciative of what they're doing, and they're excellent partners, and they're meeting during their budget process to move up to that 33% goal that we've been looking for. And I just finally like to say that while we certainly don't consider ourselves a C- organization, part of the strategic planning process here this year was to be aggressive. So we're gonna meet head on the challenges that we have. And I would just like to thank the board because when you look at how we managed post-COVID and being short on drivers, the political courage of this board to allow us to effectively take the only area that had a high level of frequency to make sure that all of Polk County had something. You don't see that at a lot of other boards where there's different interests, and that you all came together as one Polk, I think, is just something that's important to note. And then finally, I'd just like to say, I think Commissioner Scott might be giving us a hint with his shirt, because there might be some advertising opportunities if our squeeze drivers look like that. So that is the end of my report, and I'll stand for any questions.
All right.
Just one other thing on the squeeze ridership, when we do the monthly, I think what would help on here is just from average temperature for the month, just to put it on there, see if there's a correlation in weather patterns versus that, because you can staff that based on weather forecast.
Absolutely, and
Yeah.
we'll add rain days as well.
Yeah, exactly.
We do track it.
Yes.
Yeah, we do track
But
it.
we can add that in.
Yeah.
And then we'll put an asterisk for when Publix IT opens
There you go.
for the lunch squeeze.
What? That's a really good idea, though. The Mark timestamp that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's gonna be absolutely phenomenal. And the EV6 all-electric carts are currently in service in Lakeland for lunch 100% of the time. The charging stations were just hooked up by LE yesterday.
Awesome.
3 of the 4 are up and running. We're working on the 4th. And so it's going well. We're gonna work out the kinks at lunch, then roll it out into the evening service, but it's going well. Lots of phone calls, lots of excitement. People are seeing it. It's completely different.
Yeah.
And we spoke with the drivers. And the one thing we do want to make sure is that the customer experience is the same. So once you get on that vehicle, you're getting a much better experience with the EV6. You're getting air conditioning,
Yeah.
comfortable seats, bigger seat belts. However, we get as many compliments about the drivers and who don't ride. You've all experienced it. Hey, do you want to ride? They're so friendly. And so, we want to make sure those windows are rolled down when it's not hot, that they're communicating, and those drivers know that if they feel like the overall squeeze experience is suffering because of the doors, that we may look at taking them off when it's nice outside or doing things like that. We have that flexibility. Those doors can be put on and off by a single person. They're very light. We could probably have the doors off the squeeze within 5 minutes. So we are monitoring that to make sure that the experience stays
Yeah.
the same when you're off the squeeze.
Are we not at Walnut in Tennessee anymore?
Yeah.
I didn't see a sign.
I took my mom to lunch yesterday downtown, and we were coming back out. I was like, oh, we should have parked there and done the squeeze. And so I drove Tennessee, and I'm like, there's no sign, so I'm gonna ask about it, but okay. All right. I was like, I'm like, I don't think they got rid of it.
Anecdotally, I'm a huge Florida Southern fan as my son's graduating there, but at the end of the school year, when they clean out the dorm rooms, inevitably we will receive a phone call and receive back 2 or 3 of our sandwich board signs that have been in someone's dorm room for the semester.
They look cool though.
They do look
Yeah,
cool
they-
as a dorm room. So we'll get those back.
No, nothing about that.
No, nothing. Not my son. He knows. He's just got to be.
Even if they go retrieve them.
They call, when the kids check out or the students check out. And the last 3 years, we get phone calls from safety that said we found 2 or 3 boards in someone's rooms.
All
Yeah.
right,
Howdy, students.
Chef Barnby, are you up?
Sure. Good morning, Chuck Barkley with the City of Lakeland Community and Economic Development Department, and James Phillips, our transportation planner. He's passing around a summary of where we are with the creative outdoor advertising, City of Lakeland, DOT connection agreement, light stop upgrades throughout the city. As you may know, the city of Lakeland integrated outdoor advertising executed an agreement back in 2022 to upgrade stops on both the city rights of way as well as state rights of way. Per Florida statute, all permitting that occurs related to transit have to occur with the city or the county as a permitting jurisdiction. And so let's show, and James put this together, just shows where we were from November 22 to where we are today. Really in short, we have about over 100 stops on both the city and state system that have been have been installed with the permitting process or have been installed and permits have been approved. Where things took a little time to get off the ground is that there wasn't a true permitting process for transit stops, so that had to be invented from scratch. And to also further complicate things is that the Department of Transportation does not have a permitting process for transit stops within its life. So this past summer, we received a set of guidelines from DOT. It took them a while to put that together. It shows that they look for on roads like US 94 Avenue, Bartow Road. So it took a little while to get the process in place. The good news is that you certainly have seen the transit stops have been installed by Creative Outdoor on many of the commercial corridors. There are areas like West Central neighborhood where we do now have permits for Central Avenue. There are 2 stops on Central Avenue as well as 3 on Martin Avenue. And so those were submitted, I think, the last week with West Forest. So those are going to be moving forward. And so after 6 months, we will be starting to see improvements there soon. And so it has certainly been a work in progress, but they're going now and moving forward.
Olive Street.
Olive Streets, I don't believe we have any on Olive Street, but the 2 that are on Central Avenue, one of them is just south of Olive Street.
So. To that point, after our wonderful field trip, and I want to thank Sue and all the people who participated in that. I actually attended the Olive Street meeting 3 weeks ago with Miss Shirley and Rebecca Tucci and them and stuff. I guess all of those are gone now, and I'm hearing that's back, but there's also a concern in reference not just to Olive Street, but the ones that we had referenced before and the apartment complex that still had no bus stops, no pads as well.
Is that the one, Plateau Village?
Yes.
That one doesn't have a route, or at least the last time I looked, it didn't have a route. And so,
But I think that was something that they had discussed with you. They were trying to see if that could circulate in front of the apartment.
I'll follow up
complex.
on that.
It was approximately
Harley's nodding. She's
350 residents.
Yeah. Okay.
and also on that one too, that's outside of the city of Lakeland, and so we are working on annexing that into the district.
Yeah.
That's what I was told.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate it because I was well, I think we've all had conversations. Even though she has a new best friend, I just want to thank you very much for becoming Miss Shirley's new best friend.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's awesome.
She
Yeah,
is.
she's awesome.
She is.
Listen, she gets stuff done.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I very much appreciate the work that James has done in really developing the process to permit these transit stops as well as our building division, our public works department. So it's amazing how many different standards for the building code or engineering standards manual also have to be followed. So all of that is being streamlined and the process will go a lot quicker going forward.
Thank y'all.
So we should see them in approximately.
We have a representative of Creative Outdoor on the line. They can give us a better idea of schedule, but I think we're talking.
It's Creative Outdoor, the ones that we're having opportunities for before,
Correct.
not wanting to set up benches in certain areas.
I think I think we've worked all through all that to have mutually agreeable location. So I know Jerry's on the call and can give you a timeline of when it would get installed.
Okay. So do we have a timeline for that, Mr. Jerry?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, what we need to do, the biggest part of the timeline is just getting the permits completed and reviewed. The benches have been ordered for a number of locations. And so, especially for the non-ad locations that we identified. And so those are in the process of being painted. And as soon as we get the permits issued and the concrete poured, they will immediately go in. So our goal would be to have it, if everything goes smoothly, looking at the timeline, probably by, mid to late March, we ought to have everything installed for the locations. It just depends on how quickly we can get the remaining permits. We have about, I think, 17 permits that are pending, total, for the sites, where we were asked to reevaluate, installation.
This is the Westgate area?
I'm sorry, do what?
Are you referring specifically to the Westgate area?
Yeah, some of those are in the Westgate area. Like we have 4 locations that were on the MLK Avenue. Then we have 3 locations that were Central Avenue. And there are some couple more locations. As we go through the process, and keep in mind, part of the challenge that we had with the process as it relates to the removal of the benches was we were having quarterly meetings with Citrus Connection staff in the city, and that kind of stopped happening during the FDOT discussions regarding the permitting process and establishing the new permitting process. And so, when we submitted the locations where we were proposing, there were challenges with the sites. Some of the sites didn't have sufficient rights of way. Some of the sites just weren't suitable for commercial advertising. And it was right during that time when we submitted our list to Citrus Connection in the city that things kind of, took a stop as DOT and the city and Citrus Connection worked to redefine the review process so that all the proper input could happen. And so we kind of lingered for a while there, and unfortunately we had a breakdown in communication between the parties as it related to when it would be appropriate to start removing the benches that were initially identified for removal. But going forward, now that we've got the initial, what we call the initial conversion phase completed, our goal is to work very closely with Citrus Connection to meet your seating needs. So anytime you guys have a need for seating, or want us to examine a need for seating, please contact us and let us know, and we'll happily evaluate the sites. And, where it's appropriate, we'll install, advertising infrastructure. Where it's not appropriate, we'll work with you to see what we can do to put non-advertising units in place where it's appropriate for us to do so.
Well, I appreciate you very much for the update and stuff, but my main concern is that there'll be no further neglect of that area, and that we're making sure we're following within the contract boundaries to ensure that all of our constituents within that area are firmly and fairly represented and receive all transportation that they're entitled to, irregardless of whether they meet the advertising requirements or not for a bench moving forward.
Well, the advertising aspect of it is traditionally advertising. We only place advertising units in commercial corridors, not necessarily in, heavily residential areas. And that was always our understanding, particularly within the city. But we're not opposed to putting in non-advertising units where it meets the needs, where it's appropriate to do so as well. And so, it was just an unfortunate situation where, we did submit the list. It was, submitted to both the city back in 2024, I believe it was, of the list of locations, and we didn't get any feedback. But the terms of the contract required us to remove the concrete and wood units by the time we completed the conversion, what we call phase 1, which is replacing all the existing locations, the old Metro locations, and modernizing those existing locations. Now, as we go into the future, the way the process needs to work is as Citrus Connection has a need for public seating, reach out to us and let us know, and we will evaluate those sites and do what we can do to meet the seating needs. And we're not looking on it based on economic aspects or trying to deny any particular community seating. Our goal is to provide seating within the constraints of making sure that we're placing where it's appropriate to put advertising units, where it's not appropriate based upon the guidelines that we were given from the city, which was they wanted it, the advertising only within the commercial corridors or primarily within the, commercial corridors unless there was a specific request to place it within a residential area.
Well, thank you, sir. We appreciate it. I think the conversation and getting everybody to the table is really important and valuable, and I appreciate Commissioner Long working, especially in the neighborhoods that we need a little more support in the city team, and it's really interesting to learn that the DOT didn't have a process in place that was bulleted out and a framework. So I'm glad, James, thanks for working on that with the city and with Citrus Connection. But by all the nodding of heads, it feels like we're in a good spot to move forward, and the mid to late March timeline looks good.
Yes.
Yeah,
So,
our hope would be to do it as soon as possible, get those installed as soon as possible. And like I said, we would love nothing more than to restart the quarterly meetings with your staff and have regular communication between us all so that we're making sure that we're meeting the needs of your riders, because that's the goal of this project. It needs to be to meet the needs of the
Right.
community. And we want to make
Right, duly noted. Thank you. Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Anything else for the
That's
good of
it.
the order? All right, everybody can look at the calendar from January and the ridership updates. Seeing no further business, we will adjourn at 10:08 a.m. Thank you.
All the best talk for subventions.
They want to fulfill their contract.
Yeah.
Is this from,
That's why.
Roswell, can you disconnect the internet?
I don't know if we're. This is why he's classy. Thank you very much.
Well,
We already had a conversation going.
doesn't matter.
Shirley. Oh, yeah.